What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled Why Not Boycott the NCAA? Just saying. It's people want to boycott the NFL. Whatever. Because of the Kaepernick situation. People quote unquote boycotted last year because of that. Because, you're disrespecting the flag. Okay. Take away all these people's money, right? Hit them where it hurts. But, okay. Why not boycott the NCAA for taking advantage of these young kids and becoming millionaires off of children? Well, not necessarily children, but young men, teenagers. Who still, as a teenager, you still be considered as a child because we talking from 17 to maybe 22. See, people forget. Some people graduate early or whatever. So some people, might get to school at 17. I know when I was in college, I was 17 as a freshman. So, how about that? Just saying. What are the sponsors? I mean, do you have a problem with alcoholic beverages being on commercials for college games when the vast majority of college students are considered underage drinkers and they're, and you're promoting drinking at a facility with college students, even though everybody knows colleges students get drunk and get high. But they're getting a higher education. Whatever. You care about that? Do you really? Is that on your agenda? Would you boycott for the kids at Missouri that took a stand? Would you boycott for the kids at Northwestern who want to start a union? Would you boycott for the young man who lost his scholarship because he's doing YouTube videos in Florida? Is that Central Florida, I think? Not too sure, I forget right now. Because it's weird that you can boycott the NFL when the guys are going to get paid, people are still going to go to games, so on and so forth. But you'll watch these young men do it for free. So is it really about, you want to hurt these professionals by hitting them in their pockets, or you boycotting, you hitting the owners in their pockets, and thus the owners are going to tell the athletes to get in line. But you're comfortable because the kids are already in line, right? Can't take away their millions. You want to take away their scholarship and make them go home to their downtrodden life, as people like to put it. But that's just fine with most of y'all. These coaches are great individuals. Oh my God. Oh, he deserves to make $20,000 a year because he recruited a bunch of 18-year-olds that are gonna win. That's it. He's gonna teach them how to be a man. How is he gonna teach them how to be a man? When he makes his living off of young men who are physically grown men. I'm going to make them better. No, you're not. They were great for you before they got to you. See, when these guys are young high school phenomenons, right? Don't you find it odd that they learned nothing while they were in college as far as the athletics? They lifted weights. They may have gotten bigger. They may have gotten stronger. May have even gotten faster. But did these coaches actually teach them how to become better players? No. That was on them. Um, did they teach them nuance and how to recognize the moment and react to that moment when it happens? No. They just put them through a gauntlet. You know, you think when you're watching the NCAA football, you think they taught these running backs how to read blocks? Think they taught them that? Like what? Yeah. See, when people say you have vision, that's because you learn how to read blocks. You learn how to shift the defense in a direction so your blocker can get in a particular spot so you can shift back and go forward. You know, that's something that some people do quote unquote naturally because they tell people to run for the green. But over time, people learn how to read blocks. That's why you see a big old hole here, right? But they might run through a little bitty hole here and you don't get it. It's because that they're running to that big old hole. So when they run to that big hole and they go through the small one, when they get through the small one, that's the big open field. Doesn't always work that way, but that's the logic behind it. Because they're trying to close the big hole. But are you going to boycott the NCAA? Would you boycott the NCAA because these kids don't graduate? Is that a reason to boycott the NCAA? I mean, you boycott the NFL. You want kids to grow up and be men and adults and productive members of society, but they go to these universities and they play these sports for these universities and they make these universities money and they still don't graduate? And then they're not productive, and some of them, are really not productive in society because, they were trained to make the college money. They weren't trained to be the best human being that they can be if they didn't make it. Even if they did make it, for the ones that do make it, they're not prepared for life. So should you boycott the NCAA? Because even your favorite player, when most of us watch professional athletes, they get in all of these crazy circumstances, and you're like, how did you do that? Or how did you find yourself in that circumstance? You need to be smarter than that. Why? Because they didn't prepare them for anything. Should we boycott the NCAA for that? You could blame the family. Because the family sends them to the college this family does the same thing that the NCAA does. You gotta make it for us. Like what? And what do most coaches use on the players? Do you want to go back and tell your mother and your father you didn't make it? Do you want us to send you back home and have your whole neighborhood look at you and ask you why did you mess this up? Now, people who are notorious fuck ups, I can understand that though. And people who go to school and just want to get high, get drunk, and do nothing, and then they got to call their family, and their family got to tell them, dude, what's wrong with you? You're blowing the opportunity. I'm not saying there's no opportunity there. That would be a lie. But stop acting as though you want to see Nick Saban play? You want to see if Nick Saban got the same skills as Bo Scarborough? Put Nick Saban out there. See how that work out. Not so good. See if Coach K could run that pick and roll. Not gonna happen. I wouldn't say the Van Gundys, because the Van Gundys, they look like they can't play basketball, but they can play. You'd be like, wait, was that Jeff Van Gundy that just did that? Yeah, just because he built like the Penguin. See, you got the he dish on your ass. I'm just saying. Some of these coaches that you think aren't athletes because they might be old and white guys, some of these guys can actually do everything that they taught you saying that you need to do. Probably not a professional, not professionals, but they can do it. But still, should we boycott the NCAA? Should we boycott them for selling jerseys of teenagers? And people are millionaires off of a kid's jersey every year. Every year, these guys are running around being boosters and they're walking around in these college towns, and you're trying to figure out where they getting all this money from. Apparel. Excuse me. You think there isn't somebody in Louisville right now who's getting bank off of Lamar Jackson's jersey while Lamar Jackson ain't? Somebody right now is a millionaire off of Lamar Jackson's college jersey, but Lamar Jackson ain't. Should we boycott the NCAA for that? Just a question. Because if you're gonna boycott the NFL for your stance, what if NCAA players decided to take a knee for the injustices of the NCAA? Would you have a problem with that? Would you? Are we not gonna watch these games anymore? What would it take? Just my question, just hypothetical. Yeah.